Be happy, happy. Got nothing to do? Wanna have some fun?
Hey. What's in Dad's basement?
And many mouths consume its body from all sides, gnawing at it until nothing remains.
Hey kids. So, when we talked previously, I ran through a little bit Lovecraftian horror in media and games, and then I narrowed in on Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, and went into the details of that game a little bit. And then in the previous chapter, I went into the press and media response to Eternal Darkness, both at the time and in some later periods as the game sank in a little bit. So, let's fast forward all the way to 2012, 10 years after the release of Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem.
Technological change is neither additive nor subtractive. It is ecological. A new technology does not add or subtract something, it changes everything, which means it is not possible to contain the effects of a new technology to a limited sphere of human activity.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. You caught me indulging in one of my many impressive hobbies. I'm Tim Schafer, and I'm a man of many passions. Drumming, skydiving, like charity or something. But one of the things I'm most passionate about is making games.
It was a heady time for video games. Kickstarter seemed to offer developers a new, unique way to get their games funded and to get their games supported by their audience directly when they had some trouble in the past generation getting the types of games they wanted to make out to their audience through the traditional AAA publisher-developer model.
Hey everyone, it's Tuesday, February the 14th, 2012. You're listening to the Giant Bombcast. I want to wish a happy Valentine's Day to all you lovers out there. I'm going to bring it in today with Mr. Vinny Caravella. And breathe. Now you can let that position go now. And stretch. Patrick Klepek's here. DJ Jeff Gerstmann is in the house, spinning some down-tempo grooves for all you cool cats.
I just feeling it. Just vibe out. We're vibing pretty heavy. Just a session. Just a vibe session.
And more positive energy with Mr. Brad Shoemaker.
Thank you for having me. It's truly a pleasure.
Oh.
I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep, 'cause I'd miss you, babe. And I don't want to miss a thing.
Now fade out.
I don't want to dream of you.
Yashai! And welcome to our first ever live broadcast, live to tape broadcast.
Oh my God.
Play. I am your host, Mark Gaming Jesus McDonald. With me on this very special live to tape episode, well, JJ 11 Pandas seems excessive. Epperson. We got Hiroko Twintail Minamoto.
Yes.
We have rounding out at the anchor position, John Fairweather fan Ricciardi. What are we talking about? Let's talk about the Double Fine Kickstarter.
We got
Tim Schafer and Double Fine Adventures kicked it off, really, in March 2012 with the Double Fine Adventure game Kickstarter.
People come up to me all the time, and they say,
"You should make a point-and-click graphic adventure."
You know, I would, except...
Adventure games are not dead!
Okay, I'm on your side, but if I were to go to a publisher right now and pitch an adventure game, they'd laugh in my face.
But I have money, and I'd buy a copy.
Well, that's nice, but unfortunately, it's not enough money to make a game.
But there's a ton of people out there that are just like me. They'd buy one too.
I wonder if that's true.
Dude, it's totally true. There's so many people who buy it.
What if there are a lot of adventure game fans out there who want an adventure game? I wonder if there's some way that I could talk to them directly. Cut out publishers altogether. And that's when it occurred to me. Kickstarter.
You don't want to mention this Kickstarter stuff?
That's what I was getting to.
Okay.
I want to just close it out because that's the biggest damn thing. Is the Double Fine Kickstarter thing. I guess I seems safe to assume that folks have heard some of this story, if not all of it at this point. But Patrick, do you want to run this down from the top?
It was on last Wednesday. Last Wednesday, Double Fine did a Kickstarter to start an old school adventure game. So it's this Kickstarter for $400,000, and Kickstarter is a relatively new service where people can pitch in their own dollars and become backers, not investors. You don't get anything out of it in terms of a monetary involvement.
No payback for the finished thing, but they will.
So no oversight.
They will give you, or there are different kind of donation levels,
prize packages
that
for
people
being a backer.
Can define for
rewards. I think is the official term they use.
Sure, because it is a weird. This is another thing of kind of the nature of this as a back ordering system rather than as a investment system, because that has crazy implications for tax liability and.
Yeah, like it's not an investment
or a donation.
Return. It's not a donation because they're not not-for-profit companies, or at least not a deductible donation, at least.
But so basically, they'd been given 33 days to meet their $400,000. That was the ideal of we get $400,000. We can make this classic graphical adventure game, point and click style, like you guys say you like.
Hello and welcome to episode 277 of the Player One podcast for Monday, Valentine's Eve, February 13th, 2012. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, Mr. Phil Theobald, Greg Seward, Mr. Mike Phillips.
So I guess this is sort of a dual purpose. One is to actually get the thing funded, and two, to sort of prove that there must be people out there who want this.
Right.
Exactly.
And the idea was they had 33 days to hit that 400,000. They did that in about 8 hours.
Yeah, they hit 400,000 before midnight, and then it was 800,000 in the morning, and then before 24 hours, just before 24 hours, like half an hour before, they hit $1 million.
It was like 3:30 or something the next day in the afternoon that they hit $1 million. Man, crazy.
Now it's like Brewster's Millions. Now they just got to figure out how to spend $1.8 million as quickly as possible.
That old saying, if for money I'd be a millionaire, I'm a millionaire.
Brewster's Millions, coming soon from Universal Pictures.
It was supposed to be 200,000, which is the crazier thing. Like they put, that's usually the mindset with Kickstarter is you put up half of what you want because you don't get any of it if you don't hit it.
Right.
So Double Fine was going to do 200,000, even though they budgeted a $400,000 game.
And this is like smashing records for the Kickstarter service. Also, like they had just what was it like the day before?
5 hours before Double Fine's crossed $1 million, another one crossed $1 million, which was the first time they'd crossed $1 million. But they were doing it on their last day as like the big push before the end got them over $1 million.
Whether it goes well or whether it all goes to hell, we're going to show everything. Isn't that exciting? But the conversation won't just be a one-way street. This is a game for adventure fans, funded by adventure fans, so we want to make it with adventure fans. You'll be able to talk back to us on the exclusive online community of people who funded the game. You'll give input on the concept art, the music, and your input will actually affect the direction the game takes. It'll be like a collaboration.
They earned $3.3 million of their initial $400,000 goal. With over 87,000 backers.
Thank you so much to everyone who's generously backed this project beyond our wildest dreams. But we're still pushing for more because the more money we have, the more awesome we can make the game, the more people we can put on it. And we really have been enjoying the kind of statement and attention this project has been getting. And we think we can even make a louder statement about what we're doing.
Tim Schafer, being a beloved game developer for years from back in the LucasArts point-and-click adventure days, including Full Throttle and Grim Fandango, a lot of his brilliant works, he had struggled a little bit under the AAA console developer model, ranging all the way back to the Xbox days and PS2 generation, where there was a PS2 version of Psychonauts under development.
He's a naturally funny guy, too.
He's hilarious.
And they're all like all the people at Double Fine. We know a lot of them, and they all are super awesome. They totally have their art in the right place, and it just kind of comes through in the video. This Kickstarter thing, they're too, like the rewards
that you want to root for. Like they've had shitty situations with a lot of their games, like good games just with poor publishers.
It's amazing how much like they've blossomed. I feel like once they finally gave up trying to play the regular developer game.
Totally. But I feel like, this is a crazy feel-good story. This is awesome for the Double Fine guys that this this surge of love has come out and people have come to back this thing up. But this notion of this is going to redefine game publishing and game funding is
crazy.
Is super duper crazy.
Do not take too many. Tim was up front when I talked to him last Friday about this. He's like, "This is a very specific story. This is Tim Schafer making a graphic adventure game as part of a studio that has definitely struggled over the years to just stay afloat.
Yeah,
and this is the only opportunity to make this. Publishers will not make this game, so he's coming to the fans to say, help me do this. Help me make a game that I can make in no other way than just saying up front, please give me money, let me make a cool game." So when he was running down the budgets with me, it was Costume Quest and Stacking were both $2 million.
He told you all that
He told me, and then afterwards, it was right after you said it, he was like, damn it, I was supposed to save those and say them over Twitter because they're cool. So that's what he's been doing as they've been passing the budgets for his previous games.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Costume Quest and Stacking were $2 million. The budget, they've far surpassed the combined budget for Monkey Island 1 and 2. I think $1.3 million was the full throttle budget.
Yeah,
adjusted, right?
Adjusted is all adjusted for inflation.
Okay.
Then they've passed the Day of the Tentacle budget, which is really small. And then Grim Fandango, I think, is $3 million. Once Upon a Monster was somewhere between 2 and 3. And then you make a big leap to Psychonauts and to Brutal Legend. I think he has said the budget for Psychonauts a couple different times. It's somewhere between 13 and 17 million, but it's in that far past what they're going to.
That's also what was that? 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah. It's a lengthy development
They used to take a long time.
Then it was over a 5-year period. I mean, they had publisher troubles.
I will say though, I love I love everything that Double Fine's done in regards to their shift in focus when it comes to game development. Because, they were one of those, ever since that company's existed, they're one of those companies, those third-party developers that's had to deal with a lot of crap from publishers. Like Psychonauts, I think, did the musical chairs thing for a while and finally it started at Microsoft and ended up at Majesco before it finally came out.
Microsoft was originally going to publish Psychonauts. It had been in development for a long time. And then Microsoft dropped the development rights, and I remembered a controversy about whether or not the PS2 version was actually going to happen, and then eventually Majesco picked up the publishing right for Psychonauts and put it out, and despite being critically acclaimed and a great game, it got low sales and caused difficulty.
Just like Brutal Legend did, but that would have taken a long time even if none of that stuff happened. Brutal Legend, also a expensive game, but that had a lot of music and voice acting and stuff and licensing. So,
and I believe that there was some deal with Activision and who else? EA with Brutal Legend.
Yep. And then during the previous generation, his wonderful game Brutal Legend had been a bone of contention between the publishers Activision and Electronic Arts, which did end up publishing the game. Which came out and was just a fantastic game, but may have disappointed the publisher and thus subsequently the developer in terms of its sales and what it ended up being in terms of margin and revenue for all concerned.
Tim, I wish I bought your fun, awesome gem at full price. Encore!
And so that's why when he talks about the budgets being closer to Grim Fandango and Full Throttle for just for inflation, is that now we could make that kind of game with that kind of scope and with anyway, they can they already have this technology in place that they've been able to leverage for all these other games they've made, and
it almost feels like if you pull any one of those pieces out of this thing, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like an unproven studio, or
or
guys that you hadn't really heard
successful
of,
in the past,
or if they were, totally.
Yeah, go have a legacy of 20 years of making fantastic games that are some of people's favorite games of all time. Then do a Kickstarter.
Certainly a lot happier with them raising $1 million to fund a video game than people raising $50,000 to make a podcast, as Phil alluded to earlier. But it's still. I donated a penny, by the way. It's still.
Nice.
Did you really? No, I didn't. It still kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit because it's essentially panhandling.
But the thing is that if you didn't go this route, it just wasn't going to happen at all. Period.
Right. So
I
you get
totally
one
believe
game
that.
out of it.
Well, you get one game, and if they want to turn around and do it again, they might be able to get it funded again. But I totally believe the fact that they would go to these gatekeeper publishers who would just not open the purse strings at all for something like this. Even after this, I don't see it that necessarily making a big difference.
No.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's the lesson that I think everyone sort of needs to take away from this is like, yes, it's great. I don't think it's going to set a precedent for anything else. There's very few other people in the industry, in the development industry, that would get this kind of funding for a project like this. Is all I'm saying.
Can't wait to see how the story unfolds. Whether it's a complete show train wreck like Vinny wants, or
no, I don't know. I want the completely edited like sanitary.
Or a complete show like Patrick wants.
Give me that
Patrick wants that show. I'm curious either way.
I don't want it to go bad, but if it goes bad, I want to see it.
I just know it's not going to be boring.
I like to think that we've had some of those guys over here enough that they understand the value of
keeping it real. Either way, excited about this. This is a crazy development. We'll see how it goes.
Crazy development.
It's going on for another month, so please, this is definitely worth your time and money. We're contributing.
Indeed. So, Mike, did you pledge any?
I did not.
No. So the rest of us did then.
Yes, I did.
I did as well.
I did.
You could totally trust them with it.
Maybe they'll make 2 games now.
It's a worthwhile cause, and it's $15 for a game like that right there. I mean,
who at this table pitched in? Anyone?
I'm going to. I haven't yet because I haven't slept in the last 3 days.
I don't know.
You're not
not that I'm like I like Double Fine a lot. It's just I don't know about giving my money to something that I don't know what it's going to be.
What? Oh, so you're gonna wait to see screenshots?
If I think the game is great, I will buy it.
Were you an adventure game fan like in old school? So don't you have these guys are like the kings, man. This is
worth $15.
It's like Miyamoto taking money to make a new Mario.
Yes,
and you're gonna
but I don't know. What if he puts RTS features in it?
Did you see him joking?
I actually said, if they get $1 million to put on RTS features, JJ, this is 15 of your shitty iPhone games.
I know
that's like 1 month.
Dude, I didn't say I'm not gonna buy it.
Okay.
I'll probably buy it.
All right. I'm not gonna beat you over the head with it.
Well, part of this too is putting money behind something you want. Like if Keiji Inafune was funding Mega Man Legends 3 through Kickstarter, that would be something, Phil, that you would want to happen. So I mean, it's obviously not going to work for every game, every indie game that wants to get made, but for projects like this, I think it's great. It's sort of a put your money where your mouth is sort of thing.
Following the Double Fine success, you had Brian Fargo and his company In Exile Entertainment getting into Kickstarter in April 2012 with the follow-up to the original Wasteland franchise with Wasteland 2.
Hi, my name is Brian Fargo. Some of you will recognize my name.
Have you been involved with any games I might have heard of?
Have you heard of Bardstown?
No.
Fallout?
Can't say I have.
Stonekeep?
Doesn't ring a bell.
How about Dragon Wars?
I got nothing.
Castles?
I like TV show.
Star Trek 25th Anniversary?
With Picard?
No, Kirk.
Then no.
But more of you will recognize the company I founded, Interplay. Baldur's Gate.
Who Gate?
You had to have heard of Battle Chess.
Is it launched yet?
Icewind Dale. Neuromancer. Free Space. Kingpin.
Did you do Angry Birds?
Would I f***ing be here if I did Angry Birds? In fact, at Interplay, our mission statement was by gamers for gamers. The gamers always came first, and we created some great titles during that time. But the one title I always got asked about the most was Wasteland. In all seriousness, I've been wanting to make a Wasteland sequel for years. In fact, I'm hoping this sort of fan funding brings back a sort of genre of product that I love to play and I love to make.
Wasteland 2 funded.
Yay!
Funded. No, well, it's like the Mortal Kombat guy saying funded.
That's Brian Fargo, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
he is the designer who I believe, started In Exile Entertainment. They made some kind of crappy games, to be honest. Hunted the Demon's Forge, but
he was the Interplay founder back in the day, right?
He was right.
Yeah.
And so he was involved with the original.
I think he might have called me once to complain about a review back at EGM. I remember one of the top guy at Interplay called because they didn't like my baseball review of one of their baseball games. But
I'm
not sure if that was him or not.
Voice file.
So I'm on the fence, but
Well, other people not on the fence.
No, it sold. It did really well.
It was 900,000. I think it ended up at like 2.2, and at 2.1, Obsidian Entertainment joined up. That's like, well, if we make it to 2.1, we can have these guys help us out.
That's pretty crazy. Oh, you're kidding? That's awesome. I didn't even know that part.
Yeah. So
this project earned $2.9 million in crowdfunding for its original $900,000 goal.
Hey, Tim, thanks for the idea. Well, hello, Kickstarter. I'm Jordan Weissman. I want to welcome you to Harebrained Schemes World Headquarters. I want to introduce you to my new team. This is Harebrained Schemes.
Hi, Kickstarter!
Recently on Kickstarter, there's been a couple of old game designers who wanted to bring back a genre or a particular game, and they reached out to the fans for funding. And I thought, well, wait a minute, I'm an old game designer.
Also in April of 2012, you'd have another long, sort of neglected franchise coming back to its roots really on Kickstarter in the form of Shadowrun Returns.
Shadowrun started as a pen and paper role-playing game, but then went on to become a board game, a Sega Genesis game, dozens of novels, Super Nintendo game, and even a first-person shooter for Xbox and PC.
Oh, sorry, all right?
So that's why we're here today. We want to make an old-school Shadowrun game. We want to make it for the fans, and we want to make it for ourselves.
Original guy, Weissman, created the Shadowrun pen and paper RPG game.
Yeah, he's the guy who started FASA, like back in the day.
Yeah, and like a bunch of the original writers are going to be reforming for this. Anyway, they got the license back, and this to me is like, I hope whoever sold the license back did it before this whole Kickstarter thing happened, because this is like, the second that we heard this was happening, it's like, this is going to get funded in like hours, and rightly so. I'm really glad for this.
I did pledge for that one. That one is a surefire thing.
Which earned $1.8 million of its $400,000 goal.
I don't know. I've just started automatically filtering to the spam folder any emails that say Kickstarter in them. So
you didn't get my Kickstarter?
Oh, sorry, no.
Oh man, it was.
Yeah. I didn't get your press release about starting a Kickstarter.
That was a Kickstarter for a press release, actually. You're a jerk.
That I would pay for.
All I
need a Kickstarter. I need money to be able to put out this press release.
Need to get something that can send emails out to a lot of people.
I don't even know how I'm starting this Kickstarter.
It's a mass emailer.
It's just hard to sort of take that stuff seriously now. Like, I don't want to get cynical about all that stuff so quickly.
It's very easy to get cynical about that stuff with the way it's been going.
With the Kickstarter stuff?
Yeah. Oh, just because there's more.
What's Ryan Payton's?
Ryan Payton's Republic, or Republic, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I'm.
That's an iOS adventure game, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm Ryan Payton from Camouflage, and thank you for watching the trailer.
In May 2012, Ryan Payton of Metal Gear Solid 4 fame, somebody who had actually previously worked in games journalism, came to Kickstarter and was able to fund Republic, initially for iOS, but eventually with additional platforms promised as well.
The idea of the game was just started when I was hanging out with a good friend of mine, Alex Telvich, who owns this studio pretty nearby here in Venice, California, called Logan. And Logan is a production company that's responsible for the opening movie of Metal Gear Solid 4. And that's how he and I got to know each other.
Last fall, I quit my job. I liquidated all of my life savings, and I started this company, Camouflage, and hired this really, really talented staff. And I called up my friend Alex Telvich of Logan, and we decided to make this game together. So for the past 3 months, we've been in beast mode. Hardcore crunch, working on our proof of concept that you just saw in the trailer, because we felt it was really important that we take the game development as far along as we possibly could before turning to the community and asking for support.
Does not seem to be off to the most stellar start in terms of funding.
Money.
They're looking for $500,000.
That was a big one.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they're at 76, I think, I checked this afternoon.
It's been a couple of days or a week.
And you would expect to have more than that. They're going to have to drum up a lot of interest at the end.
And I think even in the thing, I was just reading kind of cursory because, like Ryan Payton, be interested to see what he's going to do. That's half the money, right? They got funding for the other $500,000.
So the reason it sounds like that they had to ask for that much money was that the small investors that have said we'd be willing to put in money is you have to prove out that people are interested.
You can't make that logic leap of like, oh, this is one of the guys behind this Metal Gear stuff. It's like, well, what did Ryan Payton do on Metal Gear? I'm not really sure.
Like, it's good. He was a producer on that. Like, and, he helped influence the controls. So I know. It looks really neat. I think they may be in a position where they maybe ask for a little too much money. But again, if they're in a position where that's what they had to do in order to get, to do what they wanted to do, if they needed to ask that much to try and prove out that much to get the rest of the money, what are you gonna do in that scenario?
That's crazy. Hey everybody, this is Ryan from Camouflage, and welcome to the final countdown, the final week of our Kickstarter campaign. And first off, we just want to express a huge amount of thanks to the thousands of people who have pledged their support to this game, Republic, and are helping us realize our dream to stay in creative control and have ownership over this IP.
Come on, I mean, everybody knows what the A4 bump is.
It needs no explanation.
But, when we asked people, when we asked our listeners, when we asked them to contribute to Ryan's Kickstarter campaign as our friend and some project we believe in, we asked people to add 84 cents so that, Ryan would know which side his bread is buttered on to flex our muscles, so to speak.
It's hard for me to even say this still. We made it at the very end. It was like a flash kind of photo finish.
That's right.
Yeah. 6 hours left. We made it over our very aggressive $500,000 goal. We ended up at $555,662.
I'm Neil Barnum, co-founder of Stainless. Stainless is a medium-sized independent game studio, and we've been making hit games for years. So, Kickstarter video. What you got?
A Hitler downfall video.
Yeah, Hitler's funny. But he's not our demographic.
June of 2012 would mark the return of Carmageddon.
When Carmageddon was released in 1997, sections of the media dubbed it a video game nasty. The Pope called for it to be banned. We've always been very proud of this achievement. Media silliness aside, Carmageddon was a groundbreaking title.
And this project would earn $600,000 of its initial $400,000 goal.
And we'll make it
This is Wii U. With the Wii U gamepad, we have the first dedicated personal screen in the long history of video games. This independent screen changes the importance of gaming machines, which have always relied on the TV screen. It makes unique new ways to play using two screens a possibility.
Thank you, Mr. Miyamoto and Bill. We started off at the top today showing you a game because that's what's most important about this presentation. It's all about the games. Currently, the benefits of Wii U will be evident with Nintendo-published titles, but also just as clearly with games coming from our third-party partners.
All right, everybody, it is after the Nintendo press conference. We're up here post-show. Nintendo Land, I
right behind us. No lines. No lines for Nintendo Land.
In this theme park, there's no waiting.
Right. And it's like Arkham City.
Like that's the thing you're like hanging your hat on, like a big Arkham City thing. Like bring them out and talk about this game that came out last year that you've added a bunch of kind of trivial, crappy looking.
I don't see what the game plan is here. Like this was supposed to get like people like, I want to go out pre-order a Wii U. Like here's this like.
Again, that's like one of the big things is like we're gonna keep making these Wii games. Like I don't want to do that.
I didn't come out with like a clear vision of like what Nintendo wants to do with this machine.
Hello, I'm Neil Stevenson. I've been writing science and historical fiction for 3 decades. Well, screw that. I want to do a video game.
In July of 2012, you would have popular author Neil Stevenson joining up with a project for a game entitled Clang, and this project would earn $526,000 of its initial $500,000 target. And then in August of 2012, really, you would blow the ceiling off the thing when Ouya would come to Kickstarter.
Ouya is a new game console for the television that's built on Android, open source technology. It's an inexpensive game console for gamers. All the games are free to try. Anybody that wants to develop a game for a television, we allow them the ability to do this.
The console business as it is today is completely closed to the independent developer. Or we have something like this open console that can break that. It's going to open it up for a new business segment for the independent developer.
The highest earning so far really earned yet on Kickstarter, with $8.9 million in crowdfunding applied to this independent console, as I said, in August, which had come to Kickstarter just asking for $900,000 as its target. September of 2012 would follow that up with another massive development when Oculus Rift would come to Kickstarter. And this VR helmet, which eventually would become a billion-dollar business purchased by Facebook, would find its footing with $2.5 million earned of its $250,000 goal. In a lot of ways, really, I guess, just as Nintendo was trying to drum up interest in their new platform, the platform that everybody was really interested in at the time was Kickstarter. Nintendo did invite my family out to a Wii U experience for us to check out the games and the system in person.
Hey Noah, say hi. Where are you right now?
Wii U experience.
Sweet. Are you experiencing it?
I'm getting ready to experience it.
Okay, there's Rayman. They got some 3DS XLs over there.
Yep, so we got these guys.
That room showing Sing. There's new Super Mario Brothers Wii over there. We're going there next. We got Pikmin 3 over here. Wii Fit U. In the back corner, it's Game & Wario. Like there's some sort of Scribblenauts remixed. This is all dedicated to Nintendo Land in this center area. Over here you got Batman Arkham City Armored Edition.
Maybe Nintendo could start a Kickstarter to fund the more powerful Wii U.
Right.
I think they'd get a little bit of money.
October 2012 would mark the point in time when Project Eternity would come to Kickstarter and earn $3.9 million of its $1.1 million budgeted goal for Obsidian. And in November 2012, another venerated game developer, Chris Roberts of the Wing Commander series, would return to Kickstarter and start the beginning of an epic tale of Star Citizen.
Hi, I'm Chris Roberts. Ever since I saw Star Wars as a wide-eyed 8-year-old, I dreamt of being a hotshot pilot saving the galaxy, or a lovable rogue making my way across the cosmos. It inspired me to make Wing Commander and has influenced everything I've done since then. 10 years ago, after 20 years of making games, I was burned out, so I took a break. But I never stopped playing games nor loving them. And now, I'm ready to come back, and I'd like to show you something I've been working on. But I don't want to build any old game. I want to build a universe. I want to build a game I always wanted to build, but I didn't have the tools to do until now. I decide that I'm just going to be a merchant, or I'm just going to be a pirate. I think what we're talking about here has everything that made Wing Commander great and has everything that made Privateer and Freelancer great. It basically has both things, and the single-player sort of military campaign side sits inside this whole universe in a holistic fashion. So one of the things that I like about crowdfunding is cutting out the politics and the noise of the big publisher, and you're dealing directly with the people that want to experience the game that you're making.
Initially earning, over $2 million of its initial $500,000 goal, but at this point in time being the crowdfunding champion, having continued funding to the point on roughly this day of around $85 million of the initial $500,000 goal. This amazing crowdfunding trend would continue in 2013. In January, Elite Dangerous would be funded to $1.57 million of its $1.25 million goal. In March 2013, Dreamfall Chapters, the sequel to a beloved series of adventure games, would be funded to $1.53 million of its $850,000 goal. In April 2013, Torment, The Tides of Numera would bring back a well-loved but singular release.
Hey, old school, come here. My sources tell me you're starting another project.
That's right. I'm pretty excited about the team and the concept we put together.
But aren't you still in the middle of Wasteland?
We are, but the writers and concept artists have finished their work on Wasteland, and we'd like to get them going on another project.
Don't you just fire them when they're done?
Well, we like to keep the teams together.
Now that there's interest in it, we'd like to come aboard. You know, kick in some more fuel.
Thanks, but Kickstarter's pretty much given us all the fuel we need.
Yeah, I read about that.
Listen, I doubt you've even heard of the game anyway.
Try me.
There's really no point.
I'm serious. Give me a chance.
I just don't think.
Brian, I've done my homework. I've studied Tristat.
Okay, fine. It's called Torment.
Never heard of it.
In a new, presumably franchise way with its funding, and that would receive $4.1 million of its $900,000 goal.
Greetings. I'm Richard Garriott, known to some of you as Lord British, the creator of the Ultima series.
And then also in April, another venerated game developer of days gone by, Lord British of Origin Software fame, will return to Kickstarter to spiritually follow up his famous series of the Ultima adventure games, which had encountered a number of troubles over the last couple of generations.
One of the greatest lessons of Ultima Online was that while we have strong ideas about what we would like to create, we are creating it for you.
And his crowdfunding effort that month would receive $2 million of its $1 million goal.
Together we will forge a new world. Thank you. Shroud of the Avatar.
And all this time, starting in mid-2012, a small group of people had started a new company. People who had lost their positions from their previous company had started a new company to take an old idea, to bring it back again with a lot of the creators of the original idea. And so in May of 2013, out of the blue, not even expecting it at all, suddenly we had the announcement of the Kickstarter for The Shadow of the Eternals.
What excites me about the gaming industry and developing video games in general is taking a step back after you've worked on something for, say, a month or two and saying, I was a part of that, and that looks cool.
We founded Precursor Games July 2012. What we wanted to do was create an efficient, agile environment where we have a core team.
Precursor Games is unlike any other studio that I've worked at before. We are a tight-knit, social and professional team. Everyone here is highly capable and they can just jump into any task at any time and execute it well. So we are proud to announce Shadow of the Eternals.
It's days like today that I especially love working at IGN, and it's great to be an IGN viewer because we are here with Denis Dyack, a man well known in video game circles, Legacy of Kain, Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, and my all-time personal favorite GameCube game, Eternal Darkness. Denis, on that note, what have you brought for us today?
I'm very excited to unveil the spiritual successor to Eternal Darkness called Shadow of the Eternals. And the title of this demo is called A Dream Within a Dream, so we need your support to help make this dream come true. I hope you like what you see here.
Let's take a look.
This can't be happening. This can't be happening.
Shadow of the Eternals, a spiritual successor to Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. This game features a rich cast of characters that is woven into a very compelling story that spans over thousands of years.
We follow the investigation of Paul Becker. He's been called to a crime scene where there's been a massacre in this abandoned asylum. 2 survivors remain. One person who's completely clean cut and looks like he's right off of Wall Street. Another who looks like he's dressed in full colors from a biker gang.
You are interrogating 2 people that are giving you different versions of the same story.
They've lost their memory of who they are, they can't remember anything, and they want to kill each other.
Your job is to figure out what parts of each of these people's story is the truth.
It takes place over thousands of years at several different locations. So as we bring in different areas, I can introduce instruments that are associated with that area. So as a composer, it's a real treat to work on something like that because I have so many flavors to work with.
With working on the original title, Sanity's Requiem, I was exposed to the cult-like following that kind of surrounded the game and how kind of popular that title was. And I've always been really kind of attracted to wanting to see that through into kind of a follow-up. And I think seeing how technology has evolved nowadays and bringing in real-time dynamic lighting and bringing in those high particle effects is something that I'm really excited to kind of pursue.
We chose the Crytek engine because we are able to realize our vision artistically and even through gameplay of what we want to accomplish. The CryEngine 3 really offered us a lot of technology at our disposal. They have incredible workflow, the dynamic lighting, there's so many features in the engine that are cutting edge. We really worked hard in evaluating it to make sure that we would be able to produce a game that we'd be proud of and that would look fantastic.
Precursor's been able to leverage some of the major features of the CryEngine for use within their game, and they've been able to apply their skill, talent, and speed to produce already very high quality assets as well as gameplay.
Being in the industry for a very, very long time, one of the biggest problems that we always had as game designers is we never had that direct contact with the consumer. So with digital distribution, we can look to ways to raise our own money and interact directly with the consumers and have that direct feedback that allows us to do things in many, many different ways and ways that haven't been done before.
When we had the idea to start Precursor, we felt that we were at the forefront of this changing industry. And unless you are flexible and responsive to those changes, you just can't adhere to what the community wants. And I think that is very important, is speaking to your community and getting to know them and what type of product that they want.
You'll notice in our teaser trailer and our gameplay trailer, it says, in collaboration with the Order of the Unseen. Upon pledging, you will gain entry into the Order of the Unseen.
We're able, through the Order of the Unseen, to allow gamers to actually create games that they want to play. Your level of interaction is totally up to you, but you will have an opportunity to interact. You will have an opportunity to participate and contribute to the content. And that's something I know me as a gamer, I certainly would love to do. So a lot of people may be thinking, why should I contribute to this? And I think there's a lot of answers for that. First off, we are a group of very experienced people. This is what we want to do, and it's going to give us a conduit to create a game that otherwise probably wouldn't be made in the traditional gaming industry through a traditional publishing relationship.
It's the only way the game's going to get made. And we think that by releasing it episodically, we can keep putting out little portions and people can decide with their wallet whether they want us to continue.
So we would appreciate it very much, and we would throw all of our effort into satisfying you, as a consumer and as a gamer, to say, well, that was money well spent, and that contribution really helped make this game that I got tremendous enjoyment of.
So I realize that one of the drawbacks of leaping forward in the timeline is going to be some of the gaps that I've left there, but we'll get to some of that. Long story short, when the Kickstarter for Shadow of the Eternals came about, if you were to ask me why would I back it despite other things that had happened, I was thinking, Kickstarter could be a new beginning. I would have to say that I had the impression that there was the possibility that at some time in the past, Denis Dyack had rubbed the press the wrong way.
Dennis Dyack wants people's money.
Right. I kind of didn't want to talk about that, but partially because I didn't know the details on it.
Precursor games.
You don't see a lot of not
Silicon Knights.
Oh, sure. I would expect it to be almost entirely Silicon Knights, because who else could you trick into working with Denis Dyack?
Rubbed certain fans and areas on the internet the wrong way.
Is Mr. Dyack involved?
In some way, he is involved, yes.
Wow.
I think it will probably succeed. They got 30 days to do I think they're asking for $1.5 million, but there are a lot of people who love Eternal Darkness.
I'm going to vomit.
Who will
rub certain forces the wrong way.
We don't really know how the Silicon Knights stuff went,
right?
And who was on what side? Like if there was a struggle, if there were a bunch of good people that were getting dragged down by someone else.
Well, that's what I kind of want to talk to those guys about.
Go read. There was a really excellent development profile of the creation of X-Men Destiny. Kotaku put it up last year. I want to say answers a lot of those questions.
Yeah, I actually reread that this morning,
and wasn't able really to get a fair shake ever since.
Let's just call him Dunkin' Donut.
Basically, there's like a bull campaign of bull going on right now.
Keep going.
Like look closely.
This is like hearing like the Iron Sheik talk about Hulk Hogan. Like they went at it once a couple years back.
My nemesis.
A chance to really ascertain whether it's possible to go back to the thing of value that was there before, that maybe had been lost a little bit. Certainly that was the case for a lot of these other game developers. I wondered if it would be the case for this guy. I thought, let's give it a shot. The only way to find out is to give him his shot and see what comes of it. That's what I thought. Coming up next time on Dad's Basement, Episode 3, Part 3, Chapter 3.
As we've mentioned, it's been a crazy couple of weeks already.
We have a report of a fire in the building in the deli of the MGM.
The whole idea of technopoly and monopolies is people stop thinking about these things, they just take it for what it is. People will read the message boards and take them as credible, and then you have these credible websites suddenly posting these things as headlines, as we already talked about.
Right. So you guys are part of that June layoff period.
And then have the audacity to ask for $1.5 million.
$1.5 million.
It's a wonderfully strong community.
There's more hits and more clicks that are made with negative news.
We sort of lose some of that discourse.
You're saying Two Humans terrible.
We have a long way to go still,
Yeah, we do.